Hello and welcome to the Raising Killin podcast. My name is Marsh Naidu and I blog at raisingkillin.org, where we curate resources for families experiencing disabilities. On today's episode 138, I chat with Emily Moscoe from Louisville, Kentucky. Emily is an occupational therapist and holds a non-clinical role at Catalyst Sports. As a reminder, the content provided on this podcast is for your information only, and if you seek advice for your specific situation, to contact a trained professional. So grab a cup of coffee, put your feet up, and get ready for some awesome conversation. Today, I'm joined by Emily Moscoe. Emily is an occupational therapist by training, but she's also the director or the adaptive climbing director for Catalyst Sports. Emily, welcome to the Raising Killin podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
So give us a little background information about yourself first, please, Emily, before we head into Catalyst.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you said, I am an occupational therapist. I actually discovered occupational therapy when I was doing my undergraduate work in college. And at the time, I rode horses. And so I volunteered at a center that did hippotherapy, which is using horses for occupational therapy or physical therapy or speech therapy. And so I fell in love with the profession. I went to graduate school and really fell in love with just helping people and really the problem solving and the creativity that's in the profession of finding creative ways to help people. And then a few years ago, I actually started rock climbing as just a hobby, a way to get some exercise, and fell in love with that. And it was through just my personal hobby of rock climbing that I discovered Catalyst Sports. So I began volunteering with Catalyst in 2021. That's when we started our chapter here in Louisville, Kentucky, and just continued to get more and more involved with the organization until I eventually started working for them full time almost a year ago. It was February of 2024 that I came on full time. So it's, in a lot of ways, working for Catalyst is similar, and I'm using a lot of those skills and the knowledge that I developed as an OT, but just doing it in the adaptive sports world now rather than the healthcare world.
Emily, so I guess I first heard about Catalyst when I was kind of researching the Smoky Mountains, and then I heard about the adaptive hiking that Catalyst does in the Smoky Mountains. For listeners that want to get an idea of what exactly is like adaptive sports, can you maybe give us the 411 on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So adaptive sports in general are just any sports for someone with a disability. So it's a really wide array of sports. Some of them are, adapting a sport that you already know, like, basketball, they have wheelchair basketball, or cycling. There are different types of cycles that allow people to use them with their arms, or, they have trikes with 3 wheels rather than 2-wheeled bikes. And then some adaptive sports are their own thing. They're specific. So like there's something called Gol Ball, which is a sport for people with a visual impairment. And so that's its own sport, and it actually has a ball that makes a noise. So they play back and forth and they use the sound in order to play. So So there's a huge range of adaptive sports, and really the only commonality between them is that there's either some sort of different type of equipment that allows people to participate, or maybe the sport itself has been modified or changed so that people with disabilities can participate fully in that sport.
You mentioned Gol Ball. Tell me more about that. That's just really interesting.
Yeah, that's a really cool one. It's actually, I just learned about it this year when I was watching the Paralympics. But yeah, it's played on a court with a net on either end, and the players actually primarily like sit down to play it, and they use their hands to try and score a goal, throw the ball and score a goal or block it. But they're blindfolded. So it's for people with a visual impairment. So all the players are blindfolded. And like I said, the ball makes a sound. So they actually listen and use the sound of the ball to figure out where they need to either block or catch it or throw it. It's really fascinating. You should look up some replays from the Paralympics.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely YouTube that to see what I can find. Definitely. Now, Catalyst Sport, tell us more about the kind of like origin story for Catalyst Sport and how that came to be.
Yeah, absolutely. So Catalyst Sports was founded in 2011. Our executive director, his name is Eric Gray. He is a recreation therapist. And the origin story was this trip that he decided to take to the Grand Teton in Wyoming. He actually took a group of disabled veterans because he was working at the VA at the time. And they went on this expedition up to the top of the Grand Teton. And it kind of sparked this motivation in him to start Catalyst Sports, to give people with physical disabilities access to these, we call them outdoor adventure sports. So it started with rock climbing. So down in Atlanta, at the time, they had the biggest rock climbing gym in the country. And people with disabilities really couldn't participate in rock climbing there. So that was the beginning of Catalyst, was creating the first adaptive rock climbing program at that gym in Atlanta. And it has spread over the years. So we've grown to the point of now we have 13 chapter cities all over the Southeast. And we've expanded to where we have adaptive rock climbing. We have that in gyms as well as outdoor rock climbing programs. We also have adaptive cycling and adaptive mountain biking. We have adaptive kayak programs. And then, like you mentioned before, we've started this partnership program with Great Smoky Mountains National Park. So we have adaptive hiking there as well. And we've just, really seen the need from the community. We've really, heard from participants that come back again and again and tell us that they never thought they would be able to get out on the trails again, or they never thought they would be able to go camping again. We have some programs that are overnight and they include camping. And so it's been really amazing for me over the years to see the growth of the organization and see how far we've come.
When I heard about the adaptive hiking, what does that look like?
So it is an inclusive program. So we have ranger-led hikes. So we have a ranger that works for the National Park Service that she leads interpretive hikes. So she'll teach everyone about the natural and the cultural history of the Smokies. And then we have Catalyst Sports volunteers who come in to assist, and both Catalyst and the National Park have provided adaptive equipment for these programs. So we have some grit freedom chairs. I don't know if you're familiar
Yes, we got to use the Freedom Chair this past summer.
Yeah, those chairs are really cool because they, for anyone who hasn't used them before, they combine a wheelchair design with kind of a mountain bike design. It's like a hybrid. So it has levers that you push instead of directly pushing the wheels. So it gives more advantage to get over roots or over rocks or up a hill. And then it has a long extension with a wheel out in the front that helps the chair to balance. So when you're going over rough terrain, it can be really stable. And then it also has some handles in the back for someone to push as well. So we have people who are, able to use those completely independently. Sometimes we have people who can do it most of the time, but just need a little assistance, all the way to someone who really is not able to push the levers so much, but they have either a volunteer or a friend or family member who can push the handles on the back. So they're great for a wide variety of people. And they can get, we call it the whole Grit Freedom Chair motto is they say, get off the pavement. And so that's kind of been our goal as the program with the Smokies has developed, is to have people be able to get on more rugged trails and really see parts of the park that they wouldn't be able to see using a traditional wheelchair, just because the terrain is too rough. The hills are too steep, or there's roots and rocks on the trail. So this past year, we did 2 hikes in the Smoky Mountains. Our third one, unfortunately, got canceled after Hurricane Helene hit that area, so we had to postpone. But we also, in addition to the hiking program, we do an overnight backcountry camping trip as well, which we actually hike out to a campsite. And it's a primitive campsite. There's no bathrooms out there. There's no, shelter or anything. It's fully camping in the woods. And then we spend the night and then hike back the next day. And then we also did mountain biking and kayaking programs in the Smoky Mountains as well. And we're planning to continue all of those programs in 2025.
That kind of segues into the next question I had. As I know it's freezing cold out there right now. We're taping right in the middle of winter, but just to kind of give folks something, to look forward towards as far as activities this spring and summer are concerned. What does your guys' programming look like for the warmer months?
Yeah, so for those Smoky Mountains programs, they will start up in the late spring, and they'll be scattered throughout the spring, summer, and fall. And we're kind of finalizing that right now, so we should be announcing those dates relatively soon. But for all of our local chapter programs, so I know you're in Tennessee, we have chapters in Nashville, Chattanooga, Knoxville, and so all of those chapters have monthly programs at minimum. So typically we're going to have indoor rock climbing programs. So those are actually going on now because those are at a climbing gym and they're indoors. But for, the mountain biking, the kayaking, those are typically done on a monthly basis. And it depends on the city as to, which sports they offer, how frequently they offer them. But that's all, you can find that all on our website. If you just go to catalystsports.org and then click your location, it'll give you the breakdown of exactly what's offered there. Another thing we have in the spring that's kind of a special event is we do our annual Camp and Climb weekend. And that's in Sandrock, Alabama, which is northern Alabama. So not too far from Tennessee. And that's a full weekend of outdoor rock climbing for anyone, even if you've never climbed before. We have volunteers and instructors out there that can assist. We have adaptive equipment. And then we're also camping. That one's not quite so primitive. So that one's at a nice campsite with accessible bathrooms and a nice pavilion, and we provide meals for the whole weekend. So it's a good intro if you want to dip your toes into camping, but you don't necessarily want to be all the way out in the woods by yourself.
What an awesome opportunity, Emily. Listen, so for for individuals and families experiencing disability, for them to learn more about Catalyst Sports, check out their website at catalystsports.org. Is there any last words that you would like to leave listeners with before we?
I would just say that, what I always tell people when we get questions about our programs is some of the sports that we do sound a little intimidating, like rock climbing and mountain biking. Some people worry that, it's too intense for them, or maybe they can't do it. And I just really encourage everyone to reach out if you're interested at all. It may not be quite as scary as you think. And we have lots of really great staff and really great volunteers that will help you out and let you participate at whatever level you want to. You don't have to be flying down the mountain on your mountain bike as fast as possible. You can just go for a nice, ride around the trails. So if you're interested at all, just please reach out to us. We'd love to, answer any questions you have, talk you through it, because it's a really great experience. And from all the wide variety of programs we offer, there's something for everyone.
So guys, again, that's catalystsports.org. Emily, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for letting us know about the mission of Catalyst Sports, and we look forward to talking with you in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for spreading the word and all that you do with your podcast.
Thank you for listening along on the podcast today. Remember, we have an exciting upcoming event that is the Resourceability Employment Expo, with a focus on employment for all, here in Dyersburg, Tennessee on May the 7th, 2025. If you are in the area, please do come and visit with us. Sweet Jordans from Paris, Tennessee will be on site to provide a tasty and wide variety of lunchtime treats. So be sure to bring your appetite and your debit card. We look forward to hosting this event and creating conversation around what does inclusive employment look like, and how can we create work-based learning opportunities for our students with intellectual and developmental disabilities. As always, thank you for listening along. We would appreciate a rate and review, as well as a share of this podcast on your podcast platform. And if you would like to reach out to us, you can contact me at BrazingKillen, that's KELLAN, @gmail.com, and you can find a wide variety of curated podcasts as well as blogs on our website, which is raisingkillen.org. Till we see you the next time, always remember, get to the top of your mountain. This is Marsh Naidu signing off.